Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Snow, and I'm here today to talk to you about the painting The Apotheosis of Washington. A very beautiful painting. It was painted by the Italian painter Costantino Bermudi in 1865, and it was painted on the dome of the rotunda of the Capitol building, again by Costantino Bermudi. Now, the word apotheosis means ascension, or reaching the ultimate state. In this case, it was meant to convey that Washington had become an icon, pretty much synonymous with America, which is an admirable statement, but I'm still not comfortable with the word being applied to a human, as apotheosis' other meaning is the becoming a god. I think that would have made Washington himself uncomfortable, and it makes me uncomfortable too, because Washington was cool, but he's no god. Now, the painting itself is very fascinating. The first central thing is Washington entering the heavens, and you'll see in the middle of it, you'll have Washington, and on either side, you'll see liberty and fame/victory. And encircling the painting of Washington in the center of the rotunda, there are 13 women, which are meant to represent the 13 founding states. On the outside, once you move past that original circle, you're going to see 6 groups of people. Now, the first one is war, and you see armored freedom. Really, really cool. She's a lady with a shield, sort of like that used by Captain America in World War II. She's standing over the tyrants of the world and, pretty much just stomping on them. She's the first group directly beneath Washington. Next, going leftward, you have science, which will see the Roman goddess Minerva counseling Benjamin Franklin and several others as electricity is stored into batteries. And you'll also see a teacher teaching other people how to use dividers. Continuing leftward, you have marine, which has the Roman god Neptune and the Roman goddess Venus coming out of the ocean, which is pretty cool to symbolize America's naval power. Then you'll have commerce, also continuing leftward, which has the Greek god Mercury showing a bag of money to a man that looks like Alexander Hamilton, and a bunch of other people moving some crates onto a hand truck, which is actually really cool. Continuing leftward, you have mechanics, which has the Greek god Vulcan, overseeing something akin to an industrial revolution, where you have a man smelting a cannon, really making it, and iron rods being moved and everything. It's just showing the American industry. And then you have agriculture, which has a relatively unknown Roman goddess, which is Ceres, which is the Roman goddess of agriculture. She's shown with a wreath of wheat in a cornucopia, according to visitthecapital.gov. And all of these people had a deeper meaning. Each one symbolized something of America. Because, again, as we're showing Washington becoming an icon, what made Washington an icon? In war, Washington had helped break the yoke of the English off of America's neck. He had led her armies in many daring assaults, and had triumphed by and large, defeating the British Army, which was arguably one of the strongest militaries of its time. Science, showing the wit of America, the cleverness of many inventors, especially Benjamin Franklin, who is well known for his experience with electricity, the kite and the key, and the fact that he could catch electricity in a jar has always fascinated me. And, her naval power, America's naval power, and the commerce with which she, bartered with the other nations. America was a very powerful merchant nation by the 1860s, selling products worldwide, and even in the Revolutionary era, America sold many products that moved across to England and to the West Indies, such as gin, molasses, rum, and tobacco, wheat, on and forth it goes. in regard to mechanics, America would become one of the places that was very well known for its inventions, as we saw with science. An example of this, not a definitive example, but a good example of this, is the Gatling gun, which would pretty much revolutionize warfare, as it's one of the first automatic mounted weapons, and it's a very fascinating weapon to learn about. And in agriculture, America has always had a very strong agricultural base. America has always been, in the Revolutionary era forward, had very large crops of tobacco, rice, wheat, and the list goes on. And continuing on to today, America's agriculture is still very large, with very massive crops of corn, soybeans, cotton, still cotton, started with cotton, and it's continued cotton to this day. Now, in regard to the art of the Apotheosis of Washington, it's very well painted. Constantino Parmudi did a wonderful job, but the beautiful state that we have the painting in today was not always the case. For many years it went uncleaned, and until 1984 and 85 and 86, the Rotunda Dome was not really that... Rotunda Dome, I'm so silly. The roof of the Rotunda was not cleaned properly, and so it led to an accumulation of grime on the roof that distorted the image and made it very unpleasant to look at. And it would remain that way until the 1980s, when it was cleaned properly for the first time in quite some time, and was restored to its former glory for all to enjoy. I hope you liked this presentation. I hope that it taught you a little bit more about the Apotheosis of Washington, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. God bless.